All right, we're live.
Yeah.
Yay.
Alrighty then.
I thought it said no singing, Brendan.
All right, so do you guys want to just start off by saying something while I do my, how I get like everything set up?
Yeah.
Dog, you chose to squeak your toy at the wrong time. Get out.
Oh my god.
The
Well,
what?
I guess that's how this stream is starting.
Yep.
But basically, there's just a lot of news that's happened this week. There's lots to really report and cover. So,
Especially after last weekend where there really wasn't much to even talk about.
Yep.
Exactly. Last week was like extremely dead.
yeah.
This week it's like action packed, and it's like almost like everything
We
about
had,
it is so
one thing last
clickbaity.
week. I think we had
So,
one thing,
All right,
but I'm
so
sure that'll
what
be
do you
mentioned
guys
today.
what do you guys think about E3 so far?
Oh, I haven't been watching that. Why didn't I do that?
I haven't seen that either. Yeah.
Gotta get them
All right.
Smash Bros.
Why do you guys go live now? I'm trying to watch the new trailer for the new Fallout game.
Well, you're gonna have to wait for the
Already?
Fallout game. Lol.
Fallout 76.
Fallout is worse than
Right?
this.
Oh my god. Okay, let's just get it right off to the start. So
Weird.
obviously Jake Paul and Carowinds had a bit of a kerfuffle.
Brendan,
all
you're not
over.
actually showing anything. You're not actually
What?
showing anything, Brendan.
You're not.
Oh my god, I'm not
You're
screen
showing
sharing.
anything.
Wow. Round of applause.
And
To all rounders currently aboard Amusement Insider's screen sharing, we are currently experiencing a
we are
temporary
currently
delay.
experiencing a temporary delay. Am I showing something now?
You're showing
Yes, you are.
top
Right.
secret. Let's go.
Woo!
Alrighty. So now that we've reset, we sent our test cycle out. Jake Paul and Carowinds had a bit of a kerfuffle.
What happened?
From what I understand, and I think Fluffy knows a little more than me, so I'll ask him after. It looks like Jake Paul and his friends kind of just like took a bunch of things, were doing a bunch of stuff, causing a huge scene. Fluffy, do you want to add on to that? What happened?
Hold on, I'm getting the thing. I'm getting the report up. But essentially, I guess what happened was they were jumping around on strollers and everything, and just like they were hopping around on scooters, doing tricks and everything, and then and yeah, basically just happened from there, and we'll see what happens from here. I mean,
So I read they got kicked out. I read that part when I was
Yeah.
searching for these pics.
Yeah.
So is this going to happen more often with YouTube being such a huge thing now and people having to do such extra things to get views? Like, I feel like this is almost going to be the new norm soon. So like, do theme parks have to eventually kind of like just shrug it off?
I
Because
feel
I
like,
read it and it didn't sound that bad. Like, it sounded bad, but it didn't sound that bad.
Mhm.
well,
I feel
hopefully
like-
it's only a one-time thing, and yeah.
I feel like a lot more parks, if stuff like that happens, parks are going to be like, okay, we're banning filming at some point. But I don't think it's
Yeah.
getting to that at all yet.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
not
already
yet.
he's already being sued almost $2 million from prior incidents.
Yeah. My question was anything damaged that was park property in this, or?
Well, I mean, the
It could
scooters are
possi-
definitely being mishandled for sure.
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
you can tell on that picture, but like,
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Atlanta News, get off my screen.
Does
Yeah.
anyone have anything else to say about this? I mean, I feel like we all think this.
I feel like it's going to give a bad view towards YouTubers at theme parks. You know what I mean?
we're already
Yeah.
starting to get such a bad view. I mean,
I
I
know.
pull up my camera and people look at me like I'm instantly
I-
doing something
I
bad.
literally had the same thing on Saturday, but I'll
Yeah.
save that for Discord discussions.
Same thing with today, for me personally, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Overall, I just really think that at a certain point in time, theme parks are gonna have to put their foot down and say like, hey, like, we know you're a big channel, but like, at the same time you're on our property, and like, like do something about it, and like don't just let it go on, because if they're able to get away with it, the more YouTubers are going to be like, oh, well, we can get away with the same thing too. And then we see this more frequently. And then this is what leads to people who are innocent and not doing anything, not be able to film inside of the parks. So
Yeah. You can't even
You
bring a
aren't
camera.
allowed to bring your phone anywhere.
Universal rides.
I make a
Yeah.
point of holding my camera down now whenever I'm at Wonderland. Like when I'm not filming a ride, my camera's pointed at the ground.
Yeah.
Just for people's comfort.
Mhm.
Did he go on a fury?
Oh,
Oh my god. I knew that was going to come
a
up.
good one. That was a good one.
But, like,
Oh,
even
yeah,
just
that's-
standing there recording rides or whatever, people still looked at me the wrong way the other day. So
yeah.
Well then CGA must be a great park because that didn't happen to me.
lucky.
Wow.
All right. I guess
I
are we
mean,
moving
no,
on to the
I
next
mean-
bit?
Yeah.
I mean, I did have the sweatshirt
Yeah.
on, so that could have given it away.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Okay,
fancy, fancy.
so this is going to be an ongoing discussion with Amusement Insiders.
I think you've talked about this a little bit before.
Just a little bit. Are you sure? Just a little bit?
Well,
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
not talking about just Discord. I'm talking about in a video.
Yes.
little
So
bit.
I wanted to, now that we have a group of people, because one thing I always find with YouTubers, so as Amusement Insiders, I make most of the videos and I spit out my opinions and people either like them or don't like them. I like bringing up this discussion as a group because then you guys get to share your opinions and then people get a broader like perspective of what other people are thinking about what's going on at, for example, so at Cedar Point. So everyone knows that I think it's going to be a B&M flyer. So I'm not going to talk about my opinions here. I want to hear what you guys think. What do you guys honestly think Cedar Point's going to get in 2020?
Well, I think they have two main possibilities that everyone can kind of agree on somehow. And I think those two possibilities are a GCI or a flyer. Personally for me, I could see either or. I think I feel like I could potentially see them going with the B&M flyer just because the one that's most well known is Six Flags Magic Mountain, which is also Cedar Point's competitor. And I'm thinking that they might want to beat them. And so they'd give them, this really huge B&M flyer, give it like the most inversions, the longest, the tallest, the fastest, break all of the Cedar Point records. And what I mean by Cedar Point records is where they break the tallest, fastest, longest, and all that stuff. But I also could see them going. Yeah, I also could see them going with the GCI though, because the only wooden coaster that they have right now is Blue Streak, and that's more of a moderate, not as thrilling wooden coaster. And they used to have Mean Streak, which was a large wooden coaster, but obviously that was a move for Steel Vengeance, which is an amazing coaster, by the way. So giving the park a GCI would give them another great wooden coaster to add to their collection. So really, I could see either or, but I'm kind of going with the B&M flyer more.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I hear a lot of people talking about with a new coaster at Cedar Point is everyone saying polar coaster. I don't think that's going to go in the park if Cedar Point gets something like that. I feel like it'll be an external thing to the park.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I remember that conversation.
Something off the peninsula as part of a resort.
Yeah.
Kind of make International Drive a thing in Sandusky. Like International
Mhm.
Drive Florida, bring it down here almost.
But if I was to pick between these two options, I think I'd be leaning more towards the flyer. It seems more like Cedar Point's type of coaster, if you know what I mean.
And the records are so easy to beat with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Buffy?
It's honestly either going to be a GCI or a B&M flyer. But something that could be a possibility. I'm not saying that it's like it,
Oh, no.
it has a very low possibility, but there could be a possibility of it being an RMC T-Rex. I mean,
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
That's not outrageous.
No,
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I
it
can see
would.
that.
It would be because obviously I think that's around the time frame that they're trying to accomplish for an RMC T-Rex, and having the first of its kind, like the first RMC T-Rex ever.
Yeah.
It would be a great accomplishment to get from the old coaster, from their very first coaster ever, all the way to something modern, a single rail coaster. And I really think that that's something that it could. There's a possibility. Who knows?
Okay, awesome. I'm going to read a couple of comments from people just because a lot of people are getting involved in the discussion, and then we can discuss it. So Gravity Group wooden coaster that goes out onto the beach. That sounds fantastic. I'll go over all of them, and then you guys. Flyer seems likely, but I'm digging Austin's idea above. So again, the Gravity Group. World's largest shuttle wooden coaster. Switchback and STD. Oh, ZTDs.
Oh my god.
Ox.
When Brendan kills me.
Oh my god.
So
what a kerfuffle.
What a kerfuffle. This whole thing's a kerfuffle.
I think look what you did, Brendan.
I think the Gravity Group is really interesting. I can see a Gravity Group or a GCI.
I don't see Gravity Group at all.
Well,
the Cedar Fair hasn't worked with it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that if they wanted a Gravity Group, they want something. They want a big Gravity Group because most Gravity Groups now they're very small. I mean, like, especially like all the recent ones. I mean, GCIs they can go even higher. They're faster. They're more intense. So I think that if I had to choose between GCI or Gravity Group, it would most likely be GCI because I think something. I mean, it depends what kind of coaster they actually want to look for, though.
Yeah.
So it varies on what they want to do.
Yeah. Adding on to the GCI versus Gravity Group, if we had to choose between those two, based off of recent history, I'd probably say GCI because we've seen Cedar Fair work with GCI often. We've seen Renegade, Gold Striker, and now Mystic Timbers. We've seen them always working with GCI, but we haven't really seen Gravity Group too much. So if they were to go with the wooden coaster Cedar Point, I think they'd most likely go with Gravity Group since Cedar Fair as a whole chain has had past history with GCI. So
for sure, and to be honest, all three of those GCI coasters are phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right.
We have great reviews the best. Those coasters.
Yeah. Bias.
Oh my god, Fluffy.
All right.
Oh dear. Okay.
Oh
my god.
Brendan. What?
So I watched it, and it looks amazing. It looks so much better than Gatekeeper. Not to offend any Cedar Point fanboy, but it looks like it has some good momentum to it.
So at this point, it's made its first test run.
Yeah.
Is what we're showing. Okay.
Well, yeah, it's probably made a couple, but yeah, they released some footage of their first test run. It looked phenomenal. This coaster looks stunning, and it made me kind of wish that Wonderland was getting a wing coaster again.
Yeah.
I don't like wing coasters. I'm sorry.
I love them.
Hey, just because you've only ridden Gatekeeper doesn't mean you'll hate all of them.
I'll save that for people reaming me out in Discord because I don't feel like getting reamed out in the comments today.
Does anyone have anything to really say about this project? I mean, it's so far away from home. It looks awesome. I'm not trying to insult the ride by moving on so quickly, but it's just kind of like, are any of us going to really go ride this anytime soon?
Right.
No.
I think
I can't even travel.
Yeah, I think that Fenix looks like a really good wing coaster. Would I say it's the best coaster based off of solely looks? Because when you ride a coaster, it's always different than when you view it. Based off of looks, it actually looks like a pretty decent wing coaster. It looks like it has decent forces, and that airtime moment seems like it actually might give airtime, unlike Gatekeeper, cough, cough. Do I think it's the best? No. Do I think it's better than most? Yes.
Gatekeeper
also
gave airtime.
Well, we'll save that for a coaster debate. Yeah.
My first coaster reviews.
All right, let's speed these dispatches up and on to the next one. Okay, this is a good one.
You're welcome, by the way.
Ooh, track is on site.
Track is on site for White Cyclone in So let's talk about this a little bit. So first of all, the track is blue, which goes with that whole blue whale sign they had up, and then also on top of it, what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to lose some of the structure, or do you think they're going to build one of the biggest RMCs ever built?
We're definitely losing a little bit of structure.
It's hard to say.
I'm not saying like a whole half of it or just even a quarter of it. I'm just saying they're gonna make it a bit smaller. They might even add some stuff on as well. But hashtag Blue Whale Cyclone for the win.
I feel like a lot of the structure has already been taken down, though. I'm talking about the helix.
Yep.
Like at least half or even 3/4 of it by now is gone.
Yeah.
So are they just using the footers and rebuilding the structure from the ground there, or are they not going to use it at all? We don't know.
We don't know yet.
My thoughts on the entire White Cyclone is I don't know what Nakashima Spalin has in mind, but if they really wanted to make this like the best coaster in the world, I feel like they'd try and use as much of the structure as they can. Like, this is only one example, and this isn't confirmed, but take 2000, like the year 2000, for example. They built Millennium Force, and then Nakashima Spalin ended up building Steel Dragon 2000, which was supposed to one-up Millennium Force. So if they had that same mindset in the sense that they wanted to beat Cedar Point, like Cedar Point's records, then they probably use most of the structure. Now, granted, this is just one example, so they might, lose structure. But I think if they wanted to make this the best that they could, and I've seen some layouts on No Limits 2 and things like that, if they really wanted to make this the best that they could use a lot of the structure, and even going with what Fluffy said, maybe adding a little bit more. They can make this like a really amazing ride that possibly could be better than Steel Vengeance if they really did the layout well.
What about you, Coblast?
I don't know, honestly. I feel like it could be the Japanese Steel Vengeance, or it could not be. It's very hard to tell at this point. Like, there's been no predictions that I've seen personally that I found to be realistic enough. And there's like not much information about the ride that we know of other than the tracks on site. It's pretty much starting with how Steel Vengeance did.
Basically.
And
yeah, I just don't see it. I think that a lot of the structure is going to be removed, and I think it's going to be shorter. It's I don't know, like Asian parks tend to do extremely well money-wise. So who really knows? I mean, they definitely have the money to do whatever they really want. They're on a whole nother level compared to North American parks.
Yeah. And I mean, I think because we also have RMC Robin Hood, which is also going to be another international RMC. So I think already we're going to be seeing 2 international RMCs in 2019. So how many more RMCs do you think we could possibly see international in 2019?
God only knows at this point.
Wait, guys, I just realized something.
Oh.
This is opening in 2019, right?
Yeah.
There's no way it's going to be bigger than Steel Vengeance.
Right, Steel Vengeance is a whole
There's no way.
project.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way.
True.
They haven't even they're not even done taking the structure down.
Didn't it take them something like 11 or 12 months to put the track up on Steel Vengeance?
It took them like 2 years to build like it up again.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no way. I mean, I would be shocked if they got it done. But yeah, just the math and all that. I think that, I don't know.
A lot of the structure is going to be sacrificed for the size of the ride that it is.
I agree with KW6S Theater. I think 2019 is going to be the biggest year for coasters. It's going to be even bigger than 2018.
For sure. I mean, look at North America. You're showing a dive coaster, a mat coaster in North America, which is huge. Not a small mat either. And we're seeing other small additions. Well, not smaller, but we're seeing other bigger additions. And then we're seeing international RMCs, White Cyclone, Robin Hood. And, we're not even at August yet in September. So every park hasn't even announced what they're getting. And it already seems huge, from what we personally already know. So, 2018 definitely is a huge year. For sure.
And all these comments, I'm agreeing with all of them. Like, no matter what RMC does with this project, it's going to be amazing. Yes, Jason put RMCs everywhere. An inverted wooden coaster would be cool. I don't know if the track can handle that much stress, but I mean, engineers can do whatever ever they put their minds to these days. So who knows? Yeah. And then I'm trying to read all these comments. There's so many. There's a lot of people watching right now. And then just remember that Steel Vengeance was a slow project. They didn't want anyone to know the layout. That's true. They
don't have crazy weather storms.
It paid off.
Also, that's true, Wolf. Cedar Point is known for severe weather, so that could have also been why. I feel like there's a lot of rumors too.
The weather does turn on a dime there, so.
All right, moving on. All right, I'm sure this is going to be a continuous conversation, though. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Fluffy. So Fluffy's home park is CGA. So Fluffy's going to go. He's going to release the review, I believe. But Fluffy, tell us about your experience on RailBlazer in a short form, I guess.
All right, airtime. Whoo, boy. One of the best airtime-filled coasters, if not the most airtime-filled coaster in California. Do not at me. This is true.
At Fluffy the Best.
This coaster gives amazing ejector, no matter what row you're in. There's a lot of whiplash and everything. And it's not even bad whiplash. It's great whiplash. Like it's such an intense ride. I have yet to grade out on it, but there are 2 parts where you can actually grade out. It may be short like Flight Deck, but is a certainly intense ride, just like Flight Deck as well. And I would say that it's actually the #1 coaster at Great America.
Oh, so you just answered someone's question.
Yep. You're welcome. But yeah. So basically RailBlazer opened yesterday for season pass holders and will keep on going to Wednesday night. And then I'm not supposed to say that, but the actual opening date is on Thursday, June 14th. So just prepare yourself. Be sure to ride it because you do not want to miss out. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. And yeah. More coming soon on that.
I mean, it's a gorgeous ride too. I haven't been on it, so I'm not going to share too much, but it looks phenomenal. I mean, CJ really put that extra little finesse into the coaster, which is nice. And I love that sign. Amazing. I love that sign.
Yeah, the front looks amazing.
I want that on my bedroom door. It looks amazing.
Also, I kind of like, this was related to RailBlazer, but I kind of like the promo video for it. I've seen a couple of their promo videos, and they actually look pretty cool. Like,
someone asked, how are the operations? The operations were actually pretty decent. There was a couple times when it did take a couple minutes because of other reasons, but overall, some of the dispatches were great, and sometimes as soon as the train hit the brakes, the second one would go up the lift, and it was really.
Guys, people are demanding Canada's Wonderland leaks. So, guys, I just want to interrupt for a second. We don't have the leak of the layout. Yes, we have a really good understanding of the layout at this point. And the layout is actually sitting in Patreon. So for anyone that's desperate for it, you can go subscribe to me on Patreon, and the layout is on there. But the leak that we're going to be talking about is about the themed area for next year. So I don't want anyone to sit around if they really don't want to. If they're really looking forward to the layout, like, don't waste your time. I don't want to be that person that holds you here if you really don't want to. But yeah, it's a leak for the themed area, not the coaster. So I just want to make that clear so you guys aren't sitting here and then you feel let down when we get to it.
40 people instantly leave.
I
Anyways,
just have one question about RailBlazer.
What?
How's the loading process like?
Yeah,
the loading process. It's actually just like any other coaster. It really is.
Pulls into the station, comes to a complete stop, harness is open, next group gets on type thing.
Yeah, but the way that they check restraints is they do the front four is one person, and then the back four is another person. So that way one person doesn't have to do the whole thing.
That's generally how it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's a fast crew. How many people are there generally?
I don't know. I was only there for one day, so I can't really tell.
Attention to the ride.
Yeah. But no, I'd say that they always have 3 people doing the clears because and then obviously someone doing the actual control booth. So, and then they will always have a grouper there because reasons, yeah.
Okay.
And so
there's always groupers at Cedar Fair.
Well, there's always going to be a grouper on RailBlazer, especially.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty, so moving on. Fluffy is going to release his review on the coaster, I believe, right, Fluffy, on our channel?
Yeah.
Okay. So look forward to that. And Fluffy filmed a lot of content today as well for CGA and RailBlazer. So look forward to that too. There are a ton of rumors for CGA and other Cedar Fair parks and even Six Flags parks. Now we're getting a lot of information, wink, wink, and rumors. So we're going to go over that soon too. I know we haven't touched on Six Flags a lot, but we do have Six Flags reps, and we actually just sent in a Six Flags media request. So there should be a lot of exciting stuff coming soon. All right. This is a really exciting topic. So we have Hershey Park is preparing for a major expansion in 2020. The land is being developed for what looks like a front gate renovation, moving stuff around, building a better front gate, and adding in entertainment and stuff like that. And then there's a slight little nudge to a future attraction that they won't reveal yet. So everyone already knows the information. So why don't we just talk about what we think is the next coaster coming to Hershey Park?
Yeah.
This
I also spelled Hershey Park wrong in the title. That's hilarious.
Nice. Nice. Hershey. It screams roller coaster.
For sure.
But how many? That's the question.
Well, I feel like they could do a lot in that area. I think in that area we'll see like 1 to 2 coasters, maybe 3. But I feel like they're gonna just make that like a whole new area, and give it everything that a regular area would have. Give it entertainment, give it rides, give it food, give it all that stuff. But then the real question is, what would that coaster be?
I just noticed it's the size of the park.
Well, going on that coaster thing that you were saying, Eastern, they're really missing one main category, and that's a launch coaster.
Fluffy.
What? Don't they? Yep, they have one.
You're all clearing out of here.
Yeah.
I think
I just face palmed so hard my head hurts.
Okay. Anyways, back from that technical difficulty. I think they need another B&M coaster because the only one that they have as of right now is Great Bear. And Great Bear, I've been on it. It's really good and really underrated. But I don't want to talk about that too much because reasons. You're
fangirling.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, but they need another B&M, and they have a hyper, but I've heard swirlings that maybe they could get a Giga possibly. Although I don't think that's what they'll be getting. I just think that they need another B&M coaster because B&Ms, as we all know, B&Ms are good with capacity and the throughput. And so Hershey Park definitely. Yes.
I can't believe I totally forgot about Storm Runner.
So they definitely need a B&M. Anyone who knows me knows I am the biggest B&M. Like I am fanboy B&M. But isn't this Intamin's Playground?
Actually.
I will admit though, they could use a second launch coaster.
Stormwind is actually a pretty darn good ride. It's pretty underrated. Not too many people talk about it. You hear people talking about Ice Speed, Rita, Top the Dragster, Accelerator.
Overrated.
I know, but not too many people talk about Stormwind. Stormwind actually is a pretty good ride. I think it actually works well for the park. I think, Brendan, you actually bring up a pretty good point. I think they also could get another Intamin coaster in the next year. Based on your opinions, you might think that the top 3 at the park is all Intamins. So my point is I could see another Intamin coaster coming. My only thing is I don't know what Intamin they could potentially get.
Brendan,
How about first they retrack Wildcat and make it good?
Well, I think they're gonna be working in the 20th in their expansion land before they do anything with Wildcat. And if anything, they might RMC it.
Okay, well, are there any wooden coasters near the expansion area?
Huh?
Are there any wooden coasters near the expansion area?
The only wooden coaster there is Comet, but actually, you kind of reminded me of something. Yeah, go ahead.
They're not going to RMC Comet.
No, not RMC Comet, but no way.
Or well, because I was gonna say if there's another wooden coaster over there, then they could possibly, who knows, they might be able to RMC that, and then they can cut back on the track or just move it around, and then that can be a whole new area right there, and that's how they expand it into the new expansion area.
Well, comments. I'm gonna add one little thing before we move on. But actually, you just made me think of something. What if they decided to give them a coaster that was like a front gate coaster? Look at rides like Gatekeeper, even Kennywood Wonderland, where you have a coaster at the front of the park that really catches your attention. Hershey Park, you really enter the park and you see rides like Skyrush and Comet and all these other coasters, but there's not really one that's right in front of you as soon as you get to the entrance. So maybe what if in 2020 they decide to add maybe a B&M wing coaster, for example, and have it go over the front gate and they give it really nice elements or something like that. That way it catches their attention right as they're entering the park or, going through the turnstiles. I think that Hershey Park could potentially do something like that just to, make the guests happy as soon as they're entering the park,
It's true.
So we have a comment from Brody. What about one of those new Vacomas?
Oh,
maybe.
I can see that too.
But that works.
A Raptor?
Yeah.
No.
I can actually see that fitting in Hershey Park, but
Eastern, I think you're going to be proud of me. I was about to say they could use a wing coaster, but before I said that, I thought of Skyrush. I'm improving.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we're moving on.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Ooh, fancy.
Okay, so I want to say something here. So I made a video on Kennywood's Project 2019, and I screwed it up. I completely screwed it up. I read too much into things. I definitely overlooked other things, and I missed one of the key aspects being the footers. So we will be redoing a video on Kennywood's 2019 project with updated rumors. And after talking to some people that this is actually their home park, I'm going to definitely make an updated video on that because I definitely screwed up my Kennywood 2019 video. So I just wanted to say that. So thank you for not hating on me, by the way, in the comments. I'm really shocked that I didn't get hate. So what do you guys think is coming in 2019 to Kennywood? And what do you think about this teaser? And what does 197 mean?
I've heard it's a Gerstlauer. I've heard that it's a Gerstlauer coaster with a 197-foot drop. That is what I've heard. I don't know if that's actually what it's going to be, but that's just all I heard.
Well, if I can ask a question, has anyone actually viewed the land that this area is in?
Yes, it's very large.
Yeah. Is it terrain? Does it have a lot of terrain, kind of like Phantom's Revenge, where you're kind of diving into a ravine type thing, or is it just completely flat?
It's pretty flat. There are some there's the old water the log jam ride. I forget what it's called. Yeah.
So if they did that, do we think if if it's flat and it doesn't have terrain, do we think that it'd go with the 197-foot drop? And if so, what the coaster type would it be? Because I'm thinking one of two things. I'm thinking either it's like footers for some type of coaster. Now, at the coaster, popular rumors used to be a steeplechase, but after this teaser, I feel like that got a lot of us confused, and now some of us aren't really thinking steeplechase. So that either could be the amount of footers that they are using, or it could be.
Guys, Junior Dyson got it right. 197-foot wacky worm.
Oh,
sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the height, guys. Like, why would you scratch the height of the ride first? I feel like that's one of the last things.
Yeah, I don't.
But again, I could be
think
reading into it too much.
Yeah. I don't know if they'd go with a 197-foot tall ride, just because I feel like Kennywood's more like a family park. Well, yeah, I feel like they're more of a family park.
Well, they need more thrilling rides.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, what if? I'm not saying it's going to be 197 feet, but if it was 197 feet, what kind of coaster would have that height or have that drop?
Because
it looks out and back.
A hyper. Hyper could have that drop.
But not so hyper?
Because think about it. It's only 3 feet off of an actual hyper.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about Project 412. What could that mean?
Area code. I'm searching that up right now.
Wait. Oh, wait. Is 412 backwards? Is it going to be a 214-foot drop with like a trench?
Or it could be 214 feet high with a 212-foot drop.
No, maybe the height of the lift hill is 197. Maybe that's why they revealed it first, thinking no one would clue in that 412 reversed is 214 feet, which is close to 197.
Area code 412 is Pittsburgh.
No, people are looking into that area code too much because of that one thing with Carowinds.
Yeah.
Area code 214 is Dallas. I reversed it around.
One thing I just thought about is there's only one of them, but a Mock Ride's Big Dipper coaster would fit that pretty well for that park.
Mm.
The only one at this point is Lost Gravity, by the way, at Wallaby Holland.
Yeah.
Which I want to ride. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that would fit Kennywood pretty well.
Yeah. I don't know if I can see the hyper rumor just because they have Phantom's Revenge. I mean, but
hold on. Just because they have Phantom's Revenge doesn't mean they can't get another hyper.
Wait. Everyone's saying free space is fake. Wait, what's free space? What's fake? Because it's free space? I'm so confused.
Wait, free space? What?
I need to look at these comments now.
Why would they choose the middle one first, I think?
Superloop.
Yeah. I'm starting to think I'm starting to actually question myself. I think it's a 197-foot tall lift hill with a 214-foot drop.
Mm.
And I think it's going to be a hyper because it's a very out and back layout.
True. But then what? So are we thinking manufacturer B&M? Can
they afford a B&M?
Well,
should have gotten a B&M.
What are their other options? Intamin,
Vekoma.
You're not wrong. Vekoma did release that model for Hyperion.
Oh my God, Rage Bob, that's so relatable. Anyone going to the buffet tomorrow? I don't want to go alone. That's literally my life story. Literally my life story in a comment.
But
man.
Oh my God, Phantom's Revenge. Oh my God.
Ooh,
actually, I just had an idea.
Wolf has actually a good question. Is this a bingo card or a lottery card?
Lottery. Bingo is not.
Scratchers.
It's not wide enough.
So it's a scratcher. It's definitely a lottery. Yeah.
Yeah.
They said that we're gonna get a new teaser every Thursday, so we'll see.
Well, I can check that because I'll be out of school. But I actually had a really interesting idea. Not saying this would happen, but remember that layout that Vekoma made for Energylandia?
Oh,
yeah.
What if they made a watered down version of that? That was like 214 feet tall, 197-foot drop, or vice versa, and they put that in Kennywood. Like, what if they did that because they never said that they weren't going to do it. It was still open for parks to buy. So what if they're using that layout and they give that to Kennywood?
I don't think they would give something like no, it doesn't work that way.
Well, not give,
Alright, so-
not give, but like they Kennywood would like buy like the layout
Some
or like
sort of ride like that.
yeah.
I feel
Something
like the thing that Brendan said, Project 412 and 197, it could be a Vekoma tilt coaster.
Why? No, I don't. I think they're done making tilt coasters. I don't.
No, yeah.
I don't
Those
think
numbers
so.
wouldn't correlate really if it
Yeah.
was. You would lose a lot of height with a tilt coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you could still say that the drop would be like that.
I don't know if we're gonna see a lot of tilt coasters. I don't think. Yeah.
I feel like if a park puts their mind to it, it's gonna happen.
Oh my God, Austin! 197-foot tall swinging mine train coaster.
Oh my god.
Seven Dwarves Mine Train on steroids.
Oh.
Life's Super Loop. No.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on because there's gonna be a video at least once a week with these teasers.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on, Brendan.
Yep.
The right image, 404. What does that mean?
What do you mean 4? Oh.
At the very bottom. I just noticed it.
Oh.
Card number 404.
Well, now we can consider 404 as one of the numbers if that's part of it.
I don't think the numbers mean much though.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay, let's move it on.
Alrighty. Okay, so this is cute. Okay, so first of all, I want to say congratulations to Clint Novak. I honestly look up to that guy so much. I've watched him since I was like really a lot younger. Loved his content. Love that he's now running a place. And it looks like he's running it really well. I mean, the changes going on are phenomenal. This is so exciting for such a place like this to finally get a cute little coaster like this. And I mean, I've been watching every bit of updates that he posts. So, I mean, there isn't much to say because it's a smaller park, but this is such great news. I couldn't be happier for him and his team. And I wish them nothing but the best. He's such a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Novex is amazing. And, you know, until recently, I just found out that, you know, he was doing this. And, you know, I think it's amazing how, you know, even though it's a small park, it's still a nice park that, you know, you can go to and have fun and, you know, do all these wonderful things. I think it's amazing. Hopefully they can.
I feel like the business he's running right now is the place I've always wanted to go to for a birthday party. Like, honestly.
The ultimate place, yeah.
The ultimate birthday party location.
And even weekends, right? Even like for a kid and like young, like teenager, like
just anyone watching this, imagine you lived like across the street or like down the street from this place. Would you not go here?
Right.
Regardless if you had, I don't know, a much bit larger amusement park an hour or so away.
Right.
No, it's got a lot of various things, so it's definitely a play. It's better than like, I mean, you look around where we live in Toronto, we don't have anywhere like this. You have Wonderland and you have arcades. You don't have these nice blends of like, I would love a mall or like an arcade to pick up something and be a bit of both and both. So this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I've also yet to be on one of these rides, so I don't know what it's like, but it looks pretty good for small things like that.
The lats. The lats.
But yeah, I guess that's everything for this.
Also, the guy was getting run over pretty much.
Oh.
All right. So what you've all been waiting for. So I will give a quick I'm gonna go through all the slides and then we'll go back to the beginning and then we'll talk as a team. But basically what's been happening is everyone knows that this idiot from Amusement Insiders has been reporting that that there's a potential that the dive coaster coming to Wonderland, if it is a dive coaster, is going to be a Giga coaster. I don't know where that idiot got it from. No, but out of all seriousness, there is a lot of evidence coming forward that is pointing towards this dive coaster being extremely tall. So I'll use the word extremely tall and stop using Giga in this little segment here because I use it in all my videos now, but it's looking really tall. So I'll go over a bit of the facts. We now know that the track is thicker than Valraven at the base of the drop. Yes. We know that the length of the lift hill is longer. We know that there is double the amount of supports than there is to Valravn, which would suggest, it doesn't always confirm, but it would suggest greatly that this coaster is going to be a lot longer. And usually dive coasters lose speed very quickly. They have a lot of drag.
Mid-course.
So one would assume that it needs a taller lift hill at least to get through a longer layout. And then there's a couple of other factors too. So, I mean, Valravn was built in 6 months. And Canada's Wonderland is apparently taking almost 2 years to build their coasters. So there's definitely a lot of key factors and a lot of evidence at play here. And I totally understand people that are not believers in a Giga Dive coaster or Wonderland going taller than Valravn. But I wouldn't either. Like, as a viewer, I would be a little like skeptical at first as well, which is why I'm always trying to present my evidence instead of just saying. So I always try to present my evidence, and then I always tell you guys too, like, we don't know. And then anything I present isn't concrete. So definitely don't take what I'm saying about it being a Giga Dive coaster as it's going to be a Giga Dive coaster. I'm just trying to, like, you know, create discussion, all that. But I'm really glad you guys enjoy the content. I mean, more and more viewers, each update I do come in, and there's so many comments. Everyone's so interested. So I really appreciate that. So we're going to quickly go over a couple of slides before we get to somewhat of a small leak. So the park has been teasing what could be a Giga coaster. So you guys already know this from my other video, that the park has somewhat dropped some teaser balls with the Giga term. We don't fully know if it's a teaser or not, but it seems very teaser-esque. And then we also have a tweet from earlier in the year where they tweeted the sign of Leviathan, and they said, what, an expensive sign, but the impressions were big. So, like, I personally thought that was a teaser in itself, if you remember my videos from back when I was Canada's Wonderland fan. There's a lot of things at play with the evidence. Oh, what do you guys
Nice
think?
one.
There's the leak. I just gave a
Wow. Personally, I don't think it's going to be a Giga Dive at all. I think it's just going to be your plain old dive machine with theming.
Theming, even though it's got double the amount of supports?
I think it's just going to be longer, because Valravn, I noticed, did not lose that much speed going into the mid-course. It just slows down there because there's brakes.
Really? You don't remember crawling over that last little bit? Because I do.
After the mid-course.
Remember, it's double the length in terms of supports.
I think for me, that alone just leads to showing that this is going to be much larger than Valravn. Now,
no. It just means that it's going to have a longer mid-course brake run.
Okay, let Eastern talk, and then we'll get to you.
I mean, obviously, Fluffy, we know that it's not all going to be for the mid-course, but we know that for sure that the layout could definitely be longer than Valravn. You're not going to have double the amount of support or support columns for like a 255-foot dive coaster. You know, obviously this has to be that much bigger, and it has to be good reason as to why it's that much bigger in order for them to, you know, need as many support columns. So even if they don't go exactly at 300 feet, they could still, you know, there's a tunnel, so they could still go like somewhere like that's under 200 feet and then make the drop so that it reaches 300 feet. But that's my thought on it. That's what I think.
That's what our measurements bring us to, right? So we did some mathematical measurements, whether they're correct or not. We know that the math is correct. We don't know if the measurements are entirely correct. And I actually just want to point out a comment here. So, and we know, okay, we're not saying anyone that says these things is always, you know, spot on, or they're being teased by the company or CEO, but the CEO told me it was going to be 266 feet or 276 feet. I can't completely remember. The weird thing about that Chaos Coaster Kid is our measurements actually brought us exactly to 276 feet. Tall dive coaster with a 30-foot drop, or sorry, 30-foot tunnel, deep tunnel.
Drop.
Which brings it to 301 foot or 302 feet drop in total. So that's weird that you're saying someone told you that, because that's actually what our measurements brought us to for the lift hill. I kept on hearing about, I don't know. Just going to go over a few things.
It's a Tim Hortons themed ride.
Oh my god.
I just wanted to say, like, it won't necessarily be your plain old dive coaster. Like, I feel it's
No
gonna
way.
drop, do your standard first inversion or whatever, do some sort of inversion again or a bank turn after that.
Did
And
you
then
see
ridiculous.
my? It looks like you saw my layout.
Me?
Ooh.
I didn't see anything. I'm just like babbling.
Uh-huh.
Easter
Wink.
knows my layout, and that's it.
Wink,
So
wink.
that was like
Did I
that's
just
literally-
nail that on the dot or something?
Yeah, so I'm
Ah.
I'm not announcing anything about the layout yet because there are
I mean,
people
kind of
subscribed to
did,
me
but okay.
on Patreon, and I've put the layout on Patreon first, and I want it to stay there for a day or two so they have access to it sooner, just because they are supporting me, and this does cost a lot of money to run, guys. So I
Right.
do appreciate anyone subscribing to me on Patreon, like even $1. It means anything. Like it helps me do this more and more and more and more.
Looks like I paid a few content. Kidding.
But the tunnel a donut.
Where's the link?
More like an old B&M's pre-job. That teaser means height or drop, Giga Coaster or Giga Coaster. I agree. I think you guys just hit it on the dot. I'm really embarrassed I didn't even think about that. So Eastern, what you said, Jasm agreed with, and other people are agreeing with you now too. So if you look at this, I think it's Giga Coaster. So they're saying Giga Coaster or Giga Coaster, and they're playing on themselves. They knew that maybe people were like, this isn't a Giga Coaster, and they put the wink face, suggesting exactly what you said, that just because it isn't a Giga height doesn't mean it's not going to be a Giga Coaster.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. And, I think even if they were to do, like, let's say just for the sake of this, let's say like 276 feet, let's go with that. Even that's like a perfect mid-tier between Behemoth and Leviathan. Leviathan, as we know, is 306 feet tall, and Behemoth is 230 feet tall. This would be right in between them, and then, just give it the 300-foot drop, and then bam, you got your Giga Dive Coaster. And obviously, none of this stuff is confirmed. Like, this is all just speculation and stuff like that. But, yeah, I think it's possible.
All right. So then we're going to go to the leak. So we've known I've at least known for about 2 weeks. There was a glitch with the Fastlane Plus 2 at first, and it's been removed. I don't think this was fully an accidental leak. I think it's there. So no Frontier name has been released yet by the park. But everyone's been rumored, and the signs going up that Frontier Canada, which was an idea way back in the day for Canada's Wonderland, is finally coming forth. And this new coaster is going to be that stepping stone for them to finally launch the full-out Frontierland or Frontier Canada at Canada's Wonderland. And this kind of like confirms that. So you play these games at Wonderland to get exit passes. And if you get one in the Frontier pack, you get an exit pass to Timberwolf Falls, Minebuster, Whitewater Canyon, and Flying Canoes.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So that's the area, and it goes all the way to Minebuster. So that would suggest that there is definitely a new area coming to connect the two rides. Yeah. And I don't think it was entirely on accident. I don't think it's a leak, but I think that it's great. I think everyone who's a Canada's Wonderland fan has been waiting for Frontier Canada to come.
Yeah.
And this leak, by the way, comes from Thrill Spirits, who's in here right now. I don't go to the park on Sundays. Worst exit passes I've ever seen. Can we expect a Swiss Chalet? It can be franchised. No, I don't think Swiss Chalet is going to come to Canada's Wonderland. From what I've understanding, they're getting a Harmony Hall.
I just want to say, if I try to get this one and it lands a little bit to the left, I'm going to be in for some pain.
Flight deck? No, I would get it stuck. Like, I wouldn't even get an exit pass.
You'd have been like, okay, who wants this?
Worst exit passes I've ever seen.
The look on my face when I get that, I'm like, yeah, I want to. Oh,
no, Anthony. Pull in Anthony.
So we are actually working on an Amusement Insiders trip to Kings Island in like probably 4 weeks max. 4 to 5 weeks we'll be there. max.
I'm gonna be there for sure.
Yeah, we're going as a team. Like, there's a group of us going. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. We are the kind of people that want to meet up with as many people as possible, and you can hang out with us all day.
Yeah.
Like, we aren't restrictive. We'd rather hang out with you. Like, when I'm at Canada's Wonderland, like, people come and hang out with me all the time. So if we're ever at a park and you see us, like, come hang out with us. Or at least me. Like,
if any of y'all are at Laurent, and come and ride the One Good Ride there with me.
Great Adventure, there's El Toro, Nitro, and Candy Car. And I have my AR shirt and
I just wear mine.
All right.
Woo! Oh,
So for anyone that's watched by, there's a couple things. They are not hiding anything.
It's nice to see you found my house.
They're not hiding it very well. So I mean, at this point, we know, everyone knows that the Yukon Gold Rush, Canadiana, Frontier Canada is happening. It looks stunning. These pictures don't really do this justice. Whoever built this, it's really nice. The attention to detail is amazing. It has like little like mining wires or electrical wires, I guess, for dynamite kind of all through it. And it looks really cool. And they have literally like 100 of these Canadian barrels over there. They're stored even in the little forest area, almost like up to the forest tree line. And they have some of them out already. They started using them in the Canadiana Frontier area for the shop that was built there. And I'm really excited. So anyone that watched my latest update knows that the pathway from Timberwolf Falls to Splashworks, in my opinion, again, this isn't confirmed, is definitely going to have that kind of like frontier area from Cedar Point. It's going to look very similar. I think there's going to be a lot of olden time Yukon style buildings. There's going to be a lot of Canadiana theming. I see plumbing sitting there waiting to connect to a building. There's electrical waiting to connect to a building. All that's done. They just need to build a building. So they're already ready to go on that aspect. And there's a lot of stakes and a lot of markers. The tree line looks like it's almost marked for removal. So there's definitely a lot going in there. And I'm really excited to see what it is. And we're going to stay up to date even in the winter because my drone's going to be up in the air. So, I mean, they aren't going to be able to hide anything from us, which is awesome because this seems like it's going to be Canada's Wonderland's biggest project.
Yeah. And I think they're doing the project well.
I want to discuss one little thing about gold mining in general. What if there's an area in that sort of path or whatever that leads to Splashworks, which has a gold mine type thing? So you could see like the coaster running through a gold mine, for example. Like you see all the washing rigs and whatever to clean the gold out of the sand, and tractors and stuff that look like they're digging.
Yeah.
Coaster flying by over your heads, and then you see like an area, a building, so that you can go in there and go and pan for gold as an upcharge.
Yeah, I can see a lot of things.
I feel like that would bring people there to experience the whole thing, and it would add another really cool attraction to Wonderland on top of the coaster.
Junior, I don't even know what track I want to run to for next year. Like, retweet. I'm running for definitely Flight Deck.
I think I'm gonna run to the left and either hit Behemoth or this thing.
I'm gonna
this
run.
This is gonna be my favorite.
I'm gonna run to the back of the park and get on Whitewater Canyon and then leave.
I'm gonna stare at the parking lot and leave.
Yeah, literally. But you know,
I think my first ride of next year is gonna be Wonder Mountain's Guardian.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Now, so we've been hearing rumors at Amusement Insiders. We get a lot of rumors about Canada's Wonderland. A lot of people reach out to us. And there's this whole conversation of upgrading Whitewater Canyon and Timberwolf Falls with theming. So maybe one could think that maybe this theming really isn't related to the coaster yet, or isn't for the coaster, and it's actually for Timberwolf Falls and Whitewater Canyon. I'll just went silent.
No. I definitely could see that being a possibility. Like, I definitely could see that happening.
This would look amazing.
Yeah, I just think what they're doing overall with this Klondike Gold Rush / Frontier, theming with the, area. I think it's just looking great, and I think they're executing like everything that they've been showing us and everything that we know. I think they've been executing it like really well. So like kudos to Wonderland on that.
For sure. Okay, so it's funny. Someone just said, "Can we do some question time?" We are at question time.
If I can adjust one question, someone said, "Do you peeps think the King Valiant is going to get a Giga in 2019?" And I think our general answer is no. I think we're all thinking like 2020, 2021, around that time. And Brendan and Fluffy and Koblash, you all can talk about that.
2020 for sure for me.
Yeah. Fluffy?
No comment.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions before we wrap up? And again, join us in Discord if you want.
I was muted. I'm so bad.
Oh.
I see a couple questions.
Do you think a dive coaster is a good fit for Wonderland? Yes, absolutely. So a couple of reasons. The media and the GP are going to eat that up like there's no tomorrow. In fact, Cedar Point just did a poll on what's better, Raptor or Valraven, and Valraven won hands down from the general public. And if anyone remembers Valraven, the media were like making all these like false, like largest coaster in the world opening up at Cedar Point, just because like the whole idea of diving is phenomenal, and Canadians are going to react even more so than they did in the States, because Canadians don't see a lot of these things like you guys are used to seeing in the States. So it's a great fit.
We have another question. Can you guys come to California? I'm lonely over here.
Eventually,
well, I could, but I won't.
Just going to the dive coaster. I think it'll be good because, again, marketing, they're going to be able to market that really well. So it's going to like definitely do great with their, attendance and stuff like that. And I think it's good because it gives them a good inverting coaster. We all know that dive coasters are basically one-trick ponies. But that being said, they still are amazing rides, and they're still great fits for parks, especially like Wonderland. And Wonderland's going to do really well, in my opinion, with a dive coaster. Inversions, the drop, and all that fun stuff.
We have so many questions. We're going to have to go a little bit quicker.
What are your guys' Novice? What else does Canada's Wonderland need to have a perfect lineup in the future?
Launch.
A GCN.
They need a good wooden coaster. Probably, maybe another good B&M, and then a backlot. But they need like a high throw launch. I'd say give them a good high throw launch coaster, a wooden coaster, maybe a wing coaster, and they're all set.
Launch coaster.
Yeah, and then they're all set.
Okay. Yeah, we need to speed up these questions. There's so many questions coming in, guys.
Yeah.
So just say answers really quickly.
Yeah.
So I said GCI or a looping coaster. Koblas said
a ride.
A ride. Any coaster. Easton said a lot.
I pretty much agree with everyone.
Too much.
I have too much of an open mind.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on Intamin not building anything for a long time? I think that they deserve it. But they will get back up and they will survive.
They're not going to go bankrupt for issues with rides.
No. Too many people a lot of people really love Intamin. I think Intamin right now probably won't be working with Cedar Fair right now, but in the future, I think they will fix their their relationships and they'll work with each other.
In the future, Cedar Fair will be like, "Baby, come back."
But Carowinds or Canada's Wonderland for golden ticket next year?
Canada's Wonderland.
Wonderland for theming, Carowinds depending on what they do with the layout.
Yeah. I will say if it's like Icon, Wonderlands will win. If it's extreme, if it's got no pacing issues whatsoever, and it's like I thrill, then it's going to be them hands down.
Yeah.
What's the snowflake in the graveyard for? Winterfest.
Dude, dog.
Any evidence for a second lift hill for Wonderland? No evidence yet. And I don't think it'll have a second lift hill. I can't see it unless they're going for a storytelling coaster like at other like parks.
Watch it have two holding breaks.
Watch it have a drop track.
Do we think that?
Track.
No.
Do we think that the no, we already have one of those, so there would be no point. Do we think that it'll have the tallest version in the world from Gatekeeper? That's a good question, and that might be a good conversation to counteract the whole idea of it being a Giga. Because if it's a Giga, it will have to have the tallest inversion. But would they really take 2 records away from Cedar Point for one coaster? I really don't think so.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like the spacing of the footers for what looks like an Immelman does not look like wide enough to be a proper, like, much taller inversion. It looks similar to Valraven's.
Yeah. So that'd be the only thing that would really deter the entire Giga thing. That actually brings up a really good point. If they had to, then yeah. If they're gonna make it a Giga, then they have to. If they're not making it a Giga, then they probably won't.
What's your favorite coaster that you've ever ridden?
Steel Vengeance.
Steel Vengeance.
Second is Maverick.
My second is Skyrush. Buffy.
Oh, outdated comment.
Oh, okay.
I have an updated top.
Oh yeah, you already answered that.
Yeah.
You told me that Kenny was doing how much was 2 more numbers. Wait, okay. So Kenny was doing the lottery ticket type thing. So 2 or more numbers have to match. Did this mean a thing? A kind of weird comment, but still. Oh, that's a good point to bring up.
Well, actually, so I don't know who did it, but someone. So there's 9 spots, and we're getting a teaser each week. Someone did the math. I guess it's kind of math, but they apparently it's for each of the spots every week. We're gonna get a new teaser until National Roller Coaster Day.
I could see that. I'm surprised Wonderland hasn't started their teasing campaign.
But don't we
really? I can't believe you just said that.
What?
They started that like 3 years ago.
No, they haven't started it. They put up a poster. Which is probably a teaser for the new area, if anything. Tennis Wonderland's new coaster could be 3rd best. I mean, it's hard to beat a B&M Giga coaster and a B&M Hyper coaster. I actually, and I don't know you guys to answer. Okay, so God, I'm gonna trigger so many people. I don't love Leviathan. I don't. I love it as a coaster. It's a great coaster, but because I've been on so many other Gigas and I've only been on 2 actually.
Another.
I love Behemoth better. Leviathan for me is incomplete. It needed 1 more element or 2. I actually think that this dive coaster, because I love Valraven, might be my new favorite coaster at the park.
I feel like
it's. Oh, you go.
Oh, I was just gonna say I can see that happening because, from what we've seen, the theming actually looks like it's gonna be pretty good. I don't know if it's gonna be Baron level, Baron Akanakanakinton. I can't say that right. Baron 1898. I don't know if it'll be that theming, but it does look like it'll have decent theming. And if they can do the theming well and give it a good layout and, actually make it more than, just the average dive coaster, make it better than, the dive coaster that we have, then I do think it has potential to be the best coaster in the park. Although Leviathan does look pretty decent.
Oh my God, I can't even keep up with the comments.
I will say I am not the biggest fan of Behemoth. I don't like it as much because of the trains. And Brendan's going to slap me when I get into Wonderland next time. But
there you go, Brendan. I'm turning it off.
Like, for my personal opinion, to beat Behemoth, I prefer Valraven over Behemoth.
Are you guys ready for the weather in Ohio? Yes, we are. I actually go to Ohio at least 2 times a year minimum.
I was ready for it. We got on everything.
I'm having them be cut off in a minute.
Okay.
So that way we can start wrapping this up.
Are we gonna lose Timberwolf Falls? No, I don't think we are anymore.
I feel like it's gonna get an overhaul for next season to make it look nicer and fit into the new area.
Yeah, for sure.
Along with Whitewater Canyon, and possibly even aspects of Mindbuster.
Get rid of Sledgehammer! Exclamation point.
I'm sorry, but one of these days that ride is just going to explode.
When is the hotel being announced? To be honest, I think something's happening. I think they ran into a bit of a kerfuffle That's my favorite word, by the way, if you can't tell. It is still showing as pending on the website, and they were already supposed to have dug ground. It is still happening, from what I can tell. It's still being planned. They're still talking about it like it's good to go on the stockholders' calls. I was expecting an announcement already based off of the stockholders' call too, so I'm kind of shocked. I feel like something might be happening behind the scenes. They've done some soil tests. Maybe something came back and they need to find something else. But it's still pending. It's been approved on many aspects. It's just waiting final approval. So the fact that it's been approved on 8 different aspects shows that it's probably not going to be declined. There probably something just happened and they're just figuring out what to do from there. Icon has pacing issues. Retweet. Don't hate me, UK people.
All right.
Wait, what? Who's saying all right?
Me.
Oh, you can leave if you need to.
No, you can leave.
Oh, I thought you were saying all right because you have to go.
No, you can leave.
Bye.
What do you think is the most neglected Cedar Fair park? I think
Michigan's Adventure.
Besides Michigan's Adventure, I would say Dorney Park because they haven't really gotten anything new. Really, the last new coaster was
because y'all are hating on it.
Well, listen, Fluffy, CGA has a pretty bright future. Yeah. Although that might be changing, but we don't really know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. The stockholders call. It's good to go.
Oh, well, okay then. CGA has a really bright future. Dorney Park, we haven't really heard that much of. The last new coaster was in 2005 or 4. I don't remember which year, but it was Hydra, and that was the last new coaster that was original, and that wasn't even that big. And everything else either was a clone or a relocation. And really, they needed a better coaster lineup because they don't really have the best.
Okay.
And I think the park just needs a little more love. But let's end it here. Hopefully.
No, we're not ending it.
Oh, we're not ending it.
I guess you have to go.
Well, I don't have to go.
So I'm gonna trigger a lot of people that aren't Canada's Wonderland fans. So Michigan's Adventure is definitely the most neglected park, but it's not because it doesn't need attractions. It's too small of a park. Canada's Wonderland is the most neglected park, and hear me out. This park is in the Toronto market, one of the biggest markets in the world. It should have already had hotels similar to Cedar Point. It should have already had its upgrades. Its front gate can't handle its capacity. Its parking lot can't handle its capacity. It had valuable land sold by Dick Kinsel that the park needed to develop hotels and additional parking on. So the park is literally like the ugly stepchild in a way. And finally, because some guy from Disney, Matt Ouimet, came over and took over, is getting what it needed. And so now it's definitely in much better hands. But it is not utilized in the way, if it was invested under the Dick Kinsel era, the way it should have been, we would have been like a 5 million attendance theme park by now.
Well, your attendance is still doing pretty well, though. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
You guys have the best attendance, roughly.
I need to go look at comments now.
Yeah. You guys have the best, attendance in North America besides like the Disney parks and like all that. So you guys definitely doing well with attendance, but
okay.
At least you guys are getting, additions and coasters that are new.
2 gigs, but what about Cedar Point and Tocqueville? So Janen, so a giga is like defined as like a 300-foot tall coaster. So Top Thrill is like above that, so it's considered a strata coaster. So when people are saying 2 giga coasters, they're referring to 2 300-foot tall coasters in the same category. So I think that's what people are saying, but I definitely see your side of the story as well.
Yeah.
Give me a strata dive.
Oh.
What do you think the Carowinds coaster theme is going to be? Definitely snakes, in my opinion, and I'm going to think like water. It looks like a lot of water is involved.
I know someone who doesn't like snakes.
Oh.
It'd actually be pretty funny if they... It'd actually be pretty funny if they had like a water/snake type theme, especially since the coaster is near the water park. So that'd actually be pretty interesting if they actually went with what you're saying, Brandon. That'd be pretty
Wait, Fluffy, I didn't realize you were doing that. We can answer questions. If you need to go, you can like head off.
Oh, well, no, because I'm saying because we're at the 1 hour, 15 minute mark.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna wrap up, but I can always edit out the question period. To be honest, actually, no, we'll wrap up now. It's a big update. So we'll just ask these last little questions. Braden, I think we already answered if the dive coaster is a good fit for Wonderland, and I think we all agreed it's a good fit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last coaster was into those smaller parks are definitely neglected. In fact, Cedar Fair is pretty renowned for neglecting some of the smaller parks, unlike Six Flags. And we're biased from the bigger parks. I can't even imagine what it feels like to have your home park as one of those smaller parks.
Yeah.
Good. Do you think I think that's it for questions. So I guess we will wrap up then. Do you guys have anything else to say before we end this?
Just saying there's a lot going on in the coast community that you don't want to miss out on. So, always stay tuned and stuff like that.
Definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't, but I'm assuming everyone in here is subscribed. Go on over to Patreon. I know this is so cheesy, self-promo, but anything helps. I literally am always reporting on something. This is like a full-time job for me now. I'm definitely going to be releasing a lot of unique content on Patreon. So there's going to be vlogs on Patreon, which I don't do on this channel. And there's going to be kind of like shorter videos that sum up things. And I'm going to be live streaming in the park. So they'll have access to information before I do. And then working on other aspects to include in Patreon. So feel free to message me on Instagram with any suggestions that you would want to see on Patreon that would get you over there to subscribe for $1 a month. I think that's it on my end.
Where's the link?
Oh, the link's in all the videos now.
Not this one.
It will be at the end.
Don't forget, guys, you can always come and join us in Discord.
Yes, please do.
Please join our Discord if you have any further questions or you just want to come and hang out with us. We're pretty much always in there, at least one of us.
Yeah,
you
always.
Have to be a Jake Paul to join. I mean, what?
All right, have a good one, guys.
Don't pull Jake Paul. Don't